why the Mercury Grand Marquis is a great first car under $2,000. So as shown right here, this is a 2001 Mercury Grand Marquis, but Ford made those all the way from 1999 to 2011. They didn't really change much, and we're gonna show you all the quirks and features today. Under the hood of the Mercury Grand Marquis, we're gonna find 4.6 liter naturally aspirated V8 that produces about 220 horsepower and 265 feet-pound of torque. Could have only got the car with 4-speed automatic transmission with overdrive. And now we're gonna show you what it sounds like. As of nowadays, when you can purchase this whole car for about $2,000, back in 2001, just those rims were a $1,000 option. One thing definitely to mention on the Grand Marquis is the locking pad right here. So if you lock your keys inside your car, you can still unlock the car using this code pin, which is definitely a feature that more cars should have, and I don't understand why they don't. A very cool feature that a lot of older cars have, but not so many new cars have, is the extra light that is right here, that when you turn on the turn signal, the light will turn on to give you some extra light while you're turning at night. As you could expect from an early 2000 full-size American sedan, the trunk is ginormous. It's about as big as your regular house. And even from 2001 technology, you can still pop it with your remote, and you can see just how big it is. There is really nothing that interesting in the trunk besides the little switch for the air suspension that this car has in the back. Besides that, there really isn't nothing that much interesting in here. The previous owner installed a sub in here, that's about it. Realistically, the only option in the trunk that you got in 2001 was a 6-disc CD changer mounted right here in the back. So as you would imagine, in a car from 2001, there is no infotainment systems in the middle, but you still get a lot of cool options that you can play with. We're gonna get into them right in a second. But first, let's talk about the fact how this car is fully loaded. Basically, every option you could get in 2001, this car has. The MSRP of this car was about $40,000 in 2001 money. And what gives you, compared to stock basic Crown Vic, you get a fully automatic climate control system with a screen right here in the middle. You get the clock right here. It's also a digital clock right here in the middle. The radio on this car is sadly aftermarket, so we can't show you the original one, but it's a nice fit aftermarket radio. You get controls on the buttons on the steering wheel, which even modern cars, some of the more modern cars will not have those controls right here, and it's definitely a very cool option. One thing to mention, in 2001 this car came with 4-wheel ABS braking, as well as stability control and traction control. We're gonna get into the clusters so you can see all the quirks and features, because there is a lot of them. Alright guys, so as you can see, this is probably my favorite option on this car. It's called the digital package, which in 2001 cost you about $1,000. It came with those badass gauges with the electronic climate control as well as the premium sound system. So as you can see on your left, the first gauge that you have is the engine temperature. Then a little bit more to the right, you have your fuel, as well as all the other check engine, traction control, battery and oil light. Then moving on in the middle, you have your digital speed control as well as your digital mileage. And all the interesting quirks are on the very right of the cluster, where in 2001 this is basically your entertainment system and everything you got in 2001. This car, you have your distance to empty, so the car will actually tell you, calculate what the distance to empty is, as well as your average fuel economy, which you can see on this car the average is 17.7, which for 2001 it wasn't terrible for a full-size V8 American luxury car. Then you have your first trip, your second trip, as well as your average speed. As you can see, the average speed right here shows 18 miles per hour, which is definitely a pretty cool feature, especially for 2001. So moving to the back, there really isn't all that much going on. Besides the fact the seats are comfortable, you can fit 3 people in here. Obviously you would rather fit 2 comfortably. You do get ashtrays on both sides for both of the passengers, which is very 90s option, but you still have it. Of course, one thing to mention, which is very important, I wish more and more new cars would have it, is the bench row seat in the front as well as in the back, so you can fit a total of 6 people in this car if you have to. Now we are going to get inside this car and see how it drives. Alright guys, so as you can see now we are in the car. Even though the seats are a little bit beat up at 170,000 miles, I can already tell you the car is pretty comfortable, as you can see right here. I really like the column shifter. I think this is a cool feature and I don't understand why more modern cars don't have it. It frees up so much space right here in the middle that this is a great feature. But we're gonna take it for a spin and see how it drives. The car does have a lot of modifications done to it. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is a great first car for your kid. It is a safe car. It doesn't get the best MPGs, but that's not really what you care about. It's a great comfortable car that you can fit a lot of people in, you can feel safe in it. You do get the airbags in the newer models, I believe you get the side curtains as well. So there is some safety features to this car. And if I would have to choose at this price range right now, which they don't really vary as that much, I would rather go with the fully loaded Mercury Grand Marquis than just like a regular cup car. So we are going over a bunch of speed bumps right now, and you can barely feel them. The suspension in the back, the air suspension was replaced, and that's probably why it feels so nice and smooth going over those bumps. And that's definitely a feature that a lot of new cars do have, a lot of new luxury cars have, and a lot of more cars should have it. Going on turns, you can really feel the luxury part of this car. This is the last true American luxury car with this boat feeling to it. The suspension is so smooth and cushy. The seats are comfortable. The steering literally feels like nothing. You can literally turn it with one finger, no issues at all. The power steering is amazing. This is like a true American luxury yacht car. So as we are pulling up to my favorite 0 to 60 spot, we're gonna just do a quick U-turn, make sure no one is around us, and we are going to do the 0 to 60 on this car. All right, so we are ready. So 3, 2, 1, go. And that's 60 miles an hour. So as you can see, usually we're gonna put the final effects on the screen and we're gonna see how fast we did it, but it did felt pretty quick. Even for a luxury car, this 4.6 liter V8 that was also mounted into the Ford Mustangs as well as the pickup trucks, the F-150s, it does feel pretty powerful for how old it is. So just to sum it up, as I said earlier, the car, for the price that you can buy it for, the owner of this car actually purchased this car for $500. And depends on the condition, you can get them from between $500 all the way up to like $2,500, which is still a great deal for what you get. You cannot really buy any modern car with a V8 with an automatic transmission as comfortable as this one for such a low price. So if you're just willing to put a little bit of work into the car, this is a great first car. It's not even a great first car, it's just a great daily driver in general. The only thing that sucks about it is the gas mileage, but they're still not as terrible as you would imagine a V8 to be. Alright guys, so I want to thank you, our friend Justin, for letting me borrow this car for the review. So if you guys enjoy it, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe, stay tuned, and see you next time. 2001, this car came with 4-wheel ABS, stability control, and traction.
Alright, redo that.
More and more car factories should fucking... Okay, no, that's really bad. I didn't know where.
Why did you say fucking?
I don't know.
I'm so fucking blue. I'm so fucking tired of this. This is so hard, bro.
One thing definitely to mention on the